So let's look at silver, and I'm sure anyone that subscribes to me will be surprised why I'm even covering silver when Bitcoin is getting hammered pretty badly. Let's just open that up. Yeah, it's a pretty hefty candle on the daily. Let's see what the 4 hour looks like. Yeah, that's pretty brutal. How many days of uptrend just gone? Yeah. So since I believe we're still in a Bitcoin bear market, I don't really think there's much to say about this other than there's a big symmetrical triangle with the odds in favor of breaking downwards, and that's all I can say about that. So back to silver, which I actually find a little more interesting, which has been hammered as well. And I don't know the reason why. You can, I guess if you wanted to compare the dollar, you could argue that the dollar has got stronger. So let's have a look. There's been a little spike in that. I guess I don't find that too convincing. I don't know the reason why. I haven't looked into it. I don't know. I've just been looking at the price action, and honestly, I've been kind of surprised at how hard it dumped. So if we go out to the weekly, it's kind of interesting. Let's get rid of this percentage. And so if you can see this, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. We broke this long-term, I wouldn't call it an uptrend, because you had this kind of parabolic move up to around 50, but I always assumed this would be support. So this, you could argue this is a triangle breaking down, but I don't really want to go into the technicals. I want to think about where I'm buying, because I think personally, inflation adjusted, this is a pretty good buy. I mean, it hasn't been this low since 2009, and I don't think that you could argue that the production of something like this has got any cheaper. Maybe there are some changes that I don't know about. I'll be sure to make a video about that. I know that silver is primarily produced as a byproduct of copper, which I think has also been slaughtered pretty badly. Well, not so bad, but it's certainly had a few bad weeks. I guess you could call that pretty bad. I mean, coming from crypto, this is the kind of sell-off that you think is bad. But this is kind of a blip, but I guess that is quite significant. When I was speaking to this guy I met on the train, some commodities trader, he said he was very bullish on long-term copper, so take that for what you will. I don't know enough about that market yet. Maybe I can have an opinion on that one day. So the uptrend broke, if you want to call it an uptrend. So now what I'm actually looking at is, where can I buy? Where is a good place to buy? Well, I've marked out some places which I think might be of interest. So you've got major support here, which for now seems to have been broken. I don't know how much resistance that would actually provide. But next target I had, which I marked out before it even broke this. I was just thinking, hey, I was thinking, what if? And then I thought, well, let's have a look. So I think that there is significant previous support around the $13 mark. I got that at $12.81, and it's fairly arbitrarily placed. This is on the weekly, so it's quite rough. Yeah, I just call it 13 or 12. Whoops. Put a little alert set too for when it hits that, if it hits that, because I see that as a significant opportunity. Now, if it breaks that, I don't see anything significant. I mean, you could argue 12.20, around 11.80 maybe, but this seems like a pretty significant region to me. And that's all the way down to about $11, which is crazy when you think about how high that went in 2011. And then ultimately, I think I would seriously consider a significant investment for myself. Here about $8.50, anywhere in $8. I mean, that's crazy cheap. It seems to me crazy cheap. If you look at the monthly. I mean, yeah, it's way easier to see these points that I chose. I must have looked on the monthly. Yeah, it seems entirely possible, but you can't. I don't think anyone can pick a bottom. I think people that do get very lucky. So I'm scaling in. I have already scaled in, and I will continue to at the price levels that I've marked. How I choose to play this, being a European citizen, there is VAT virtually everywhere on silver, so it doesn't make sense for me to buy physical silver. It makes sense for me to use ETFs, which is why I'm looking at the SLV. We can compare the silver price. We can look at that. It's not very easy to see. Let me change the color. So that's no good. Let's change it to, I don't know. Let's just do white, so you can see. So the spot price is somewhere around 14.20, but SLV is like, I can't see. It's almost $1 less, 13.34. So we've already got a little bounce here, but personally, if this isn't the bottom, then I don't think we're far off, because this is just a crazy price correction when you look from the highs. When you look at the RSI, we're at the point where, remember, this downtrend, this is a grinding bear. Oh my goodness, that was brutal, and this RSI just remained completely oversold until we got a little bounce, and then straight back down. So really, we have, I remember actually, I actually bought some coins around this level. Must have been around 13 somewhere, maybe even lower, maybe 14, but all those gains from like 2 years just gone. Now, like I said, I'm not entirely up to date on the industrial use. I don't really consider at this point investor demand. I'd say that people that invested basically anywhere in the last, I don't know, 7 years, more or less. Where are we? Almost in 2019, and we haven't seen prices like this. Wow. So that's like 10 years. Let's call it 9 or 10 years. So anyone that invested in this bull run and was sucking into holding and not selling on these massive spikes, I mean, look at that. They are underwater, and you gotta wonder, where did they sell, if they sold, or did they just chuck their silver in a box and forget about it? I don't know, but I can imagine those guys would be pretty upset. And looking down here, it's these are crazy prices. So I'm kind of looking at when would be a good time to buy. And I don't usually use the RSI all that much. I like to use it as kind of on the higher time frames, because I feel like you can tend to see how oversold or overbought something is by the price action. But on the long term, I like it, because it can, when you get these extreme price movements, you can really see it. Obviously, this isn't just something you take into account by itself. You think about other things. I'm thinking that, hey, this was a crazy bubble. This is cheap. This could probably go to like $25 in a year or two. That to me seems like a no-brainer. What's the downside on this? Oh, I don't know, $3 if it goes down here. And this is the thing, you can't think about it as if it goes down, it's a tragedy. It's actually a huge opportunity, potentially, at least the way that I see it. And also, don't position yourself so you're overexposed. I would say that I actually went a little harder than I should have on the last drop. So I'm not worried because I got this for the long term, and I'm not going to go broke doing this. I'm quite diversified in terms of my holdings, and yeah, I've got my opinions on the precious metals, but I won't go into that entirely here. But I want to highlight the RSI because when has it been this low? The last time it was this low was 5 years ago. 5 years on this crazy sell-off. So that tells you something. It's, to me, that I mean, if you actually examine the RSI, let's bring this open a little bit. So, I mean, if you're not familiar with the RSI, long story short, above 70 or 80, overbought, below 30, 20, oversold. That's fairly simple. I mean, you've got all things like divergences and other ways to read it and use it to complement your charting, but apart from the occasional I like divergences because other people look at them. I think that it's almost like chart patterns become memes amongst people and everyone's watching it, and then the resolution is almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's kind of like something that feeds in on itself. So that's also why I'm looking at the RSI. So when was it? Like I said, 5 years ago, and we had a nice bump from about, let's call it 1785 up to 23. That's a significant bump. It's nice. So that's another kind of checkbox that I'm thinking, wow. I mean, it wasn't even that low back in 08, which, yeah, we had that was the start of the bull market, so you could argue that isn't as relevant in this area. Yeah, I like to work through the higher time frames and then work down to the lower ones and find examples of, I mean, you could make a nice analysis of when the RSI was at this point. But as you can see, it does not reach this point very often. I'm looking at the 3-day now, and it's almost, well, maybe not here. I would say maybe not the majority of occasions on the 3-day. It's not as convincing to me. It looks like noise, a little bit more noisy. And then when you get to the daily, if you're looking to play like a swing, I mean, I'd have to like run an actual analysis to get the percentages of times when it actually bumped when the RSI was oversold like this. Because obviously, I think personally, I like higher time frames. I feel like there's more information in there. Yeah, you might miss a big move, but I feel like it's safer. The weekly is nice for this. It's a lot of information. I think we're significantly oversold. I think we're going to get a bounce in the next few months. Possibly, there's a good chance it'll be in the next week or two, I think, but it's kind of, I'm biased to the downside. I would like to see more downside. I think it's a fantastic opportunity, and yeah, it could pay off. But like I said, don't listen to me. I am just some guy clicking around on charts, talking into a microphone, and wondering how I can put a little extra cash in my pocket. Because that's what this is, really. It's great looking at charts. I enjoy charts, but it's really about making a little extra money and preserving what I do have. So yeah, I would say, I mean, who knows where it's going to be in a year, but I would be shocked to see it under 50 by, where are we now, October, September, by like maybe February, March next year, personally. But, you know, prices can stay down a long time, so you gotta be prepared for that. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, which I saw, especially around here, when all those silver gurus were shilling their game, and still are. Some of them still are. There's a few guys I really do like though. People like David Morgan. I feel like he's one of the most honest guys out there in the kind of silver sphere. And obviously Scruff McDoodington, Don Harold, very good guy, very honest. And yeah, there are a few guys out there, but other ones, which I'm sure you all know, I don't consider as honest. But I mean, I'm sure some of them believe what they're saying. I just find it very strange that they sing the same tune year in, year out. I mean, if they really cared about helping you out, helping the average guy preserve his wealth, would they be telling you to buy into a bubble and continue to tell you to buy as it pops, spinning all this fiat born? Now is the time when they should be telling you, they should be pounding the table, as Don likes to say. And that's where kind of weirdos on the internet like me and him come into play, because I think it's a good thing to at least consider. And I'll stop rambling now. I just really wanted to do a video on silver because yeah, this price action is interesting, very interesting. I mean, it's kind of easier to see if you just look at the actual silver spot price. Bam, bam, just down, down. Really, really surprised. Did not expect it to break that line. Be very surprised. Well, I'm prepared, but I'm surprised if it'll go below 1350. Because if that does, then look out below. And yeah, back up the truck, fill your boots, maybe. Like I said, not financial advice. This is just for entertainment purposes only. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next video.